Golden Blue Tube here with you. I'm going to talk about the Orange Bowl real quick. I'm going to let you know right off the bat. I don't think it's going to be much of a game. I think it's going to be fairly one-sided, so I wanted to give that information out at the beginning because that's the way this is going to go. So it's going to happen on December 30th at 8 o'clock on ESPN. So for the Orange Bowl, the FPI has Florida as a 82.1% chance of winning. Yeah, like I said, pretty one-sided. The line is Florida minus 14, and the over-under is 54. So looking at Florida, their points per game is 33. That's 38th in the nation. Not terrible. Their points against is 14.4. That's top 10. That's good enough for 8th. And their record coming in is 10-2. 2 losses on the year. So for Florida, their quarterback, Kyle Trask, he is 213 for 315, 67.6%. QBR is 81.1. He's thrown for 2,636 yards, 24 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, sacked only 21 times. That is not terrible at all. So for their running back, he's ran the ball 118 times for 538 yards, 4 touchdowns, averaging 4.5 yards a carry. So really, not a great running game. Decent offense, but not great. And what's weird is their leading receiver is actually a tight end. Kyle Pitts, 51 receptions for 610 yards, 5 touchdowns, averaging 12 yards per reception. So not a super dynamic offense for Florida, but not too bad. Different story for Virginia. Their points per game is 32.4, 43rd. Points against is 26.5, 59th. And their record coming in is 9-4. They do have 3 receivers over 600 yards in receiving yards. So a little bright spot there for Virginia. Basically, the reason this matchup happened is because Virginia was the runner-up in the ACC. I still think they're pretty terrible. So the offense of Virginia centers around one person, and that's their quarterback, Bryce Perkins. I actually thought at the beginning of the season that he could make a Heisman run. Didn't work out quite so well. Still a decent player. He threw 292 for 456. That's good enough for 64%. QBR 69.9. He threw for 3,215 yards. That's actually 20th. 18 touchdowns and 11 interceptions. He's also been sacked 38 times. So turnovers, not too good for the Virginia offense. Bryce Perkins is also the leading rusher for Virginia. 213 attempts for 745 yards, 12 rushing touchdowns, averaging 3.5 yards a carry. But again, he's fumbled the ball 6 times, and 3 of those he's lost. So Virginia has a tough time not turning the ball over. Well, guess what? That plays right into the hands of that Florida defense because they like to turn people over. So the leading receiver for Virginia is Hasise Dubois. 65 receptions for 979 yards, 4 touchdowns, averaging 15.1 yards per reception. Like I said, he's one of the 3 that's over 600 yards in receiving yards this year. I tried to find bright spots for Virginia in this game, but there's just not that many other than Bryce Perkins. The problem is Florida's defense is good enough to key in on him and shut him down, and I do think that's what will happen. Kind of a repeat of the Clemson game. Virginia might hang around in the first quarter for a little while, but eventually Florida will pull away. Virginia does not have a good defense, so even though Florida's offense struggles at times, I think they'll be able to put points on the board. My final score for this game is Florida 38, Virginia 17, and we'll all be yawning by the end of this. However, we all know upsets happen, So if Virginia were to win this game, this would be one of the biggest upsets of the New Year's Six Bowls. So we'll have to see. But for me, I don't think it's much of a test for Florida. I think Florida is going to be your Orange Bowl champions, 38-17 over Virginia. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's, not much of a matchup, and I just did it because it was a New Year's Six Bowl, but I did it anyways. I hope you enjoyed it. Come see me on my next video.